Right then, are we live? Guys, welcome to Deviant Stories. It's been a while since I've actually read some stories, but recently received a request to do Electric Heart by Fina Bina. So here it is. I'm gonna read it for you, and one other called The Coffee Shop and a Little Card. Alright, you guys ready for this? It hurts. Every time one of my brothers die, it hurts. They treat me like I'm a simple AI droid, not realizing that they are creating a living being. When they made the code allowing me to regenerate and learn, I was built to protect this family and programmed to bond with its head and guardian so I could fulfill that duty. But again, it has become more difficult now that Zakaria has passed. His son will step up to take his place, but I do not know if I can do this again. They think I do not feel as their kind do, but what is emotion at its core? Statement 98310 states that emotion at its core is simply the synaptic activity between neurons that forms a pattern recognized as anger, love, pain, and happiness. I am not an organic specimen, but the computer inside of me is made of synthetic neurons. My entire body was made to regenerate any cells needed for me to be fully operational at all times. Over time, I have generated a large number of new neuron cells in order to have a greater common ground with them. There are a lot of errors in this. Relief is misspelled here. Common ground. So yeah, you really want to watch out for this kind of stuff if you're going to submit stuff for reading. So I'm just going to continue, but yeah, please do be careful of that, because you should at least do a spell check when you submit stuff, because it makes it a lot easier for us to read. But yeah, I'll just carry on. In order to have greater common ground with, and I must protect, I use the cells to observe and imitate the emotional interactions between my charges, as their children did, so I also learned how to project it. I learned to feel love, amusement, worry, relief, happiness, pain, anger, all of them, their hair, inside me, unside me. This is turning into my reading of My Immortal, so spell check, guys, spell check. It's very important. They make me human in every way, but blood. For I have none to flow through my imaginary veins or to be pumped by this pretend heart made of synthetic material and electricity. In the 162 years that I've guarded this family, only one person has come close to realizing what I truly am. She was a tiny thing when I first met Maria. She was 8 years old, and I found her playing with the youngest of my charges at the time. Rather than be worried that I found them messing with explosives, she asked me to show them how to set it up so that the miniature bomb would go off at the right time. After the incident, I quickly became fond of the little girl and grew to love the woman she became. Woman is misspelled as well, that should be A. I had even allowed myself to think she returned that sentiment, that is, until she chose young John over me, because, as she said, I was a T3.6 protection and companion simulation android. I did not feel emotion, I was just programmed to act like I did. Now staring is misspelled, at what remains of Zakaria and having yet another piece of my soul torn away, I wonder, would she have chosen me had it only been housed in flesh and blood and not this electric heart? So very emotional stuff, but the feels hard to come across when you... I don't know, for me as a lit guy, I cannot stand even a single error. So guys, do be careful when you submit stuff for us to read. Try not to have even one error in it, because it just like breaks up my flow. When anybody submits stuff to be read, and usually it's not just the writer gang, but a lot of other people do ask me to read their stuff as well. You generally have to have your work pretty polished for us to read. This one I did because it's a very rare request. Usually people don't ask us. Usually we are the judges. But yeah, definitely you want to have your spell check done. You do not want to have errors like this, because it just looks very unpolished. But overall, the feels are still there. So that was Electric Heart by Fina Banana. Hope you enjoyed that reading. I'll now move on to Coffee Shop and Little Card by Mark and Ethan Cyron. There she was, yet again at the coffee shop, moving into the chair where she always sat. I've determined that she comes here every day, or at least every day that I've been here. Every day at 3 o'clock, and then at 6 p.m. a black Honda picks her up, probably taking her to her home. I don't even think she can drive. All the times I've seen her come in here, she has always been on foot. Maybe she has a job that goes off at 3, and whoever drives the car can only come at 6 to get her. Today she's wearing all black, except for a touch of red in her hair. That sounds like somebody I know. If they watch this, they'll know who they are. The pants appear to be an inch too short for her, and a tee is solid black, save for the singular gray musical note at the front. Another black tee she has worn included musical themes. One had headphones, another had a keyboard. She always is listening to music too. Okay, there you probably want to put commas in rather than full stops. So one had headphones, another a keyboard, and then maybe a semicolon. She's always listening to music too. One thing that I do know about her is that she always gets a banana. Okay, and a drink, but that drink is always changing. She never is consistent in her preference of drink. Sometimes it's a mocha drink, other times it has been tea or coffee, or even a frappuccino, or something else altogether. One day when I came in, I found her at a different table, but she was keeping a watchful eye on her spot. When the gentleman left, she swooped in and laid stake of her territory. It is rather cute, I think. Then one day she wasn't there, and my watch said 3:10 p.m. As time passed, she still didn't show up. I stayed until it was 6:20 p.m., but at that point I had to leave to get to my place of employment. So formal. But at that point, I had to leave to get to my place of employment. He had to get to his job. I worked night shift at the local grocery store along with my mate. Right. Okay, sorry, been reading too much of other stuff. That mate came in the wrong way. Anyway, along with my mate, we would restock and clean the place. It took about 10 minutes by car from this coffee shop. If I was to stay home and go to work from there, the distance is less than 5 minutes. This is where you should put in 5 minutes. 5. You can actually take out PM here, put 5 minutes there, just make it flow a bit better. Anyway, it's less than 5, but I've gotten into this habit, like her, who had become a regular in the shop. I come by the next day and the day after that, but still there's no sign of her. I check my watch to see if it was broken, but it matches with the clock, with what the clock in my car says. And it is not like I can ask the employees of the coffee shop where she has gone, because I highly doubt that they will know. And 2, I don't want to be... Okay, if you're going to use numbers, right, you want to put the numbers, be consistent with them. Don't start off with 1 and then put 1 in later. It gets really weird. But where was it? Where was I? Oh, now I lost my place. Damn it. Okay, yeah. And 2, I don't want to be a creep. So I begin a routine of my own. I buy a banana and sit at her spot. Also would buy a drink of the day. And I would carry a card that I picked out on her 5th day of absence. It contained a note and a gift card. Every day I carried that letter. I did this for a month or so before luck came my way. Okay, just so you know, I have a lot of experience with this, being creepy, and this is definitely creepy. So if you really want to get a girl's heart, do not do this, because I've done this. And it is very fucking creepy, and you will get arrested. I didn't, but thankfully that's because my friend stopped me in time. And looking back on those days, I'm disappointed in myself. So guys, this is the wrong way to get a girl. It sounds good in a story, but yeah, if you do this in real life, terrible, terrible consequences will come your way. Anyway, I was running late that day. I reached the coffee shop 10 minutes past 3. Traffic was unusually bad for this time of day, and there she was in line. 3 people ahead of her and no one at her seat. 2 people ahead of her. I grabbed a... okay, I get it. So she's saying 3 people ahead of her and no one at her seat. Then 2 people ahead of her. And this is like a flowing action, but I generally also don't do this in my stories because, yeah, it gets a little wonky. So you want to say 3. So like for this part, you can say 3 people ahead of her and no one at her seat. A moment passed, and then 2 people ahead of her. I quickly grabbed a pen from my bag as I grabbed her seat. Okay. I also removed the card from my bag and began to scroll. Past tense, present tense. I think it should be present, but maybe I'm wrong. But I think it should be begin to scroll. To the woman who comes here often. Yes, I mean you. Okay, terrible way to start a note as well, because you really do not want to ever write something like that. As somebody who is a very fine ladies' man. Please do not do this either. That is a terrible, terrible way of getting a girl. One person ahead of her. I stand slowly. She's now ordering. As I walk to the exit, I take a peek behind me as she is approaching her table, so I bolt from the shop. Do not do that. Do not do that. Terrible, terrible thing to do. On the sidewalk, I head to my car. I have time to kill before my shift, but I can't help but think about what actions she's going to take with the card. Will she read it? Will she even open it? I go over what I wrote in my mind. Dear you don't know me, but then again you might recognize me. We've been going to the same coffee shop for some time now. I wonder if you would be interested in meeting up at this coffee shop, perhaps to get to know each other more. You can contact me below either through my cell or even through snail mail if you so wish. Whether or not you get in touch with me is all up to you, but please accept the gift card no matter how you choose. Okay, this whole thing gives like stalker vibes. I'm getting the goosebumps here. I sign my name both in cursive and in print since my signature just looks like one curved line. All I have to do now is wait for a reply if I get one. I guess I need to be hopeful that I receive a correspondence from her. That's all I can hope for in the end, I think, as I enter my vehicle. Okay! Now this, actually, I do have to make a comment. I know I'm not supposed to, but I really do, because this totally rubs me the wrong way. Okay, if you don't know a girl, and let's say she's at a coffee shop, and you have been going to this coffee shop for a long time, chances are she does recognize you. Now, what you want to do is, okay, so let's say that you are at least, I'm assuming you're not completely out of whack and you don't look completely wacky. So you have some pride in your appearance, right? Some pride. I didn't say a lot, but just some. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, confidence can carry a lot, but not if it's backed up by nothing. So have a little bit of like something to back it up. Anyway, what you should do, honestly, do not leave the note. Do not do anything weird like that. Literally, just go up to her, okay, and approach her. Yes, if she's listening to music, tap the table gently, or just get her eye contact. It's really easy to do. I don't know, but for me, I confidently just, I just would like be like, hi, listen, okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but I've actually noticed you coming to this coffee shop a lot, and I actually come here a lot, and I know this. I saw this actually going differently in my mind. Now that is what you call it's not really a pickup line, but it's a hook just to get them interested, because like you can't just start a conversation for no reason, right? And it's going to be even weirder and more awkward. So you want to dispel the awkwardness by laying it out flat. So that's my technique. That's what I would do. I would say, okay, yeah. So okay, I totally saw this going differently in my mind. Like this wasn't how it was supposed to be. I had totally researched what. Sorry, my bad. And that is when you make a purposeful mistake to like sort of blow the atmosphere away. Now this is banking on your humor, so you don't want to look like a creep. You're just looking like a regular guy, just trying his best to get everything out. And yes, this is all planned. So oh, I'm sorry. Okay, listen, I was just wondering if you'd like to get a coffee together. Well, not together, you know, but, you know, literally just get a coffee and drink together, because I've been here quite often, and I just thought it might be nice to strike up a conversation with you. So would that be all right? Oh, cool, thanks so much. You agree. And if she says no, then all right, thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate the honesty. I didn't mean to, like, because, yeah, I just wanted to introduce myself. Yeah, I'm Sid, by the way. Completely forgot the introduction. And that plants it in your mind. So if they never return to that coffee shop again, okay, you got rejected, fine. But if they do, then you can be like, hey, it's me, Sid, again. Sorry, you know, maybe I was a little forward last time, you know. But usually they will say, all right, okay. You know, people aren't really that against it, you know. So like they'll say, okay, yeah. So you sit down with her and you're like, oh, by the way, I've noticed you always listen to music when you come in here. Are you in like a band, or do you just like music or something? Oh, what are you into? And just get the genre, because most likely you're not going to know the band she's into unless you're like a music nut. But if she says something like Breaking Benjamin and you do not know them, and do not say this, do not say, oh, I'm so into them too, because she's going to question you on it. So first thing is like, oh, I've never heard of them, but what genre are they? Oh, they play metal. Okay. Well, I like a bit of metal too. I did start off the mainstream with Metallica, but after that I started branching out, and my personal preference is like fantasy metal. So You know, what specific kind of metal do you like? You can just go from there, just have a conversation, and just start talking. You know, but before she walks away, it's like, and if you know the timing, like this guy, so she leaves at six o'clock. So be like, hey, listen, I know you leave at like 6 o'clock, but I was just wondering, do you have like a mobile number, line, something? Because I was just thinking like maybe we could talk a little more outside of this place, because this is like, because this is where I hang out. So I don't know, I wouldn't want you to feel like I'm intruding on your space, but like maybe we could have like, I don't know, hangout session together, because I'm always alone here. But thought it might be more fun to drink coffee with you, because I'm literally always here just working on my poetry and stuff. So you know, maybe it might be cool to talk about that, or some other stuff. You know, I usually have a plan when I go in for these things. That was all improvised, but generally you do not want to just leave a note with a random gift card, and that's gonna be like, oh shit, stalker. Man, I think there are some girls that are into that, but you might get taken for a wild ride or something. I generally do not spend on a lady until I'm fairly sure of her. So that was a lovely story, Coffee Shop and the Little Card by Mark Ethan Cyron. But yeah, it's good in a story, but do not do this in real life. Reality has like different rules from story. Story is nice, but reality, oh man, you do not want to do this. So weird, so weird. But anyway, guys, that was a nice romantic little story. Thank you guys for submitting your stories in, and don't forget, like I said, spell check. It's very important, and of course, try to get your grammar in order. But in general, most people do post on DeviantArt to get feedback and comments. So I thought I'd do a little more like this, because unlike with poetry, which is very short and usually there are very few grammatical errors, stories, generally you do not see them yourself the first time you're actually looking through. So this happens with me. My first drafts are often worse than this, so don't really worry about that. And if any of my comments sound too harsh, I'll just apologize in advance. But yeah, generally you just want to spell check and just make sure those simple things are out of the way. So guys, thank you so much for submitting your stuff in. I'll see you all next time.